Well, welcome to Earnful of Popcorn. My name is Timmy Williams. I just did it regular.
Are you wearing your shirt? I put my shirt on.
No, shit. I forgot. Oh, that would have been great. Oh, a little kind of weird. But that's like, you know what? Let's do that next time. Because I think it's very funny to do that. And to tell people, like, hey, when we record, we wear our special shirts, you know. At first, I thought you were asking me if I was wearing my Shanthrax shirt, which I have had on by accident, like, the last 5 episodes. But no, I'm wearing... I'll turn the camera on so you can see it. I am wearing a T-shirt of Carl Urban. No, not Carl Urban. That'd be cool. Keith Urban, the country star.
Carl Urban.
Not Carl Urban, the actor. No.
You know Carl Urban?
Yeah, Carl Urban. Yeah, from Lord of the Rings and stuff. Anyways, this is Keith Urban. So can you see my shirt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tie-dyed. It's cool.
My daughter tie-dyed it. It used to just be like an off-white shirt. And then it's got a bunch of 2-8s on the back. It's like, what a weird fucking shirt.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? Some people are like, nice Jennifer Aniston t-shirt. Which I get that. It kind of looks like her. So, whatever. Have you ever been into like a big store or anything on Black Friday or the night of, you know, Thanksgiving night?
We went one time when I was visiting my parents in southern Indiana, and we got up, I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the Walmart that was 2 hours away.
Jesus. You drove 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Did you buy anything?
The aisles that I went into, like the arts and crafts, there was nobody in there because none of that shit was on sale.
Right.
But yeah, I just bought a bunch of arts and crafts stuff.
Well, no one ever appreciates that shit anyways, so makes sense.
Yep. But it was dumb. I was like, why are we up this early to go to Walmart? It's so stupid.
I have gone. My brother Daniel and I, we were like, it'd be funny to go to Black Friday after Thanksgiving dinner. And there was a video game I wanted, and I got it cheap on Black Friday, where I was standing in the big crowd of people around the shelf thing, and it was wrapped up. You know, you could see the video games you wanted. And it was Batman Arkham City, because someone will ask. Anyways, so then it started, and like one dude up front was just like handing games back to people. And then I went to another part of the store, and my brother wanted like a Razor scooter thing, and I basically took one out of the hands of an old lady. So
what, Timmy?
Well, whatever, man. She shouldn't have been there.
Were you like, what? You don't need this, old lady. Give me that.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, it wasn't in her hands, but she was like reaching for it. It's like, yoink. My joints still work. Fuck you.
She was getting that for her like grandkid.
Well, what's she doing? What's she doing on Black Friday? That's dangerous. Plus, I wanted the full experience because I've only been out like maybe twice for Black Friday. So it's like, well, let's get the full experience here and, you know, be mean to somebody. I don't know, whatever.
Man, what a crazy story to be like, oh, what happened to Uncle Timmy? Oh, yeah, so he was trampled getting into into the local Walmart.
And that's not even funny because it fucking happens.
It's happened a lot.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
My daughter works at a grocery store, and she worked a bunch this past week, of course. It's still a little busier than normal, but, you know, grocery stores don't really do the Black Friday thing. They're all about, obviously, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving is completely bananas at those places. And then you add in the fact that it snowed here, because you get, like, a flake of snow. People are like, I need to buy all the water and toilet paper, bunker. I gotta go bunker, you know? I gotta go bunker. I don't know. Today, we're going to talk about the original Frankenstein, 1931 Frankenstein. And Shandy had this idea because just a few weeks ago or a month ago, Guillermo del Toro released his version of Frankenstein, which I was like, maybe I'll watch it first. And it's 2.5 hours long. I'm like, I don't need to. You can watch this movie and Bride of Frankenstein and still have about 20 minutes to hang out while someone else is watching Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. So, I'm not going to do that. And I'll watch it. I'm interested in it.
I am too.
Yeah, but here's a question. So you suggested this. How come you did not suggest that we watch the Guillermo del Toro one?
Well, one, because we haven't done a movie that's this old before.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we haven't kind of done any of the Universal monsters yet.
Right.
So on my TikTok feed, I just keep seeing the Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein stuff coming up. And I went, when was the last time I even saw the original one? It's been a long fucking time. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of go back to the roots, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I learned some stuff today too. I normally want to do research, but sometimes I don't have time. But this time I had time.
The first couple episodes you did, and then fucking cats happened. All the cats happened, but cats keep happening. Shandy's a cat sitter. She's not in the Broadway production of Cats, which I think closed anyway. So,
could you imagine?
Yeah, you can sing, right? You could probably look good in a cat suit. I don't know.
Like, Timmy, we got to wrap this up. I got to go to rehearsal.
Yeah. I'm an understudy for Taylor Swift. She was in the movie. Yeah, so Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is long, and apparently it seems like it's a pretty accurate adaptation of the novel. Have you ever read the novel?
I never have, and I think maybe you asked me that, didn't you, last night?
Yeah, and but that doesn't matter because I don't remember anything. So, okay, well, yeah, I probably asked you that. This is probably the 5th time I've asked you that in the last week, so there you go.
Have you read it?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So Frankenstein is based on the book Frankenstein or The Modern Prometheus by Mary Shelley, released in 1818. And this movie is very not like that at all. But obviously, this is one of the most influential films of all time of any kind. And, was so popular and such a huge success that this is what people think of. But so in the book, Frankenstein is never dumb. He, is created, and then he quickly, he's reading a book within, shortly after he's made.
Oh, wow.
And, talking.
Oh.
And the bride part is in there, too. There is no assistant. In this movie, he's named Fritz. Later on, they created Igor, but there's never in the book. And that was actually... So I don't want to talk over some of the research you did, but so that was... Technically, this movie is based on a play that's based on the book. So, which is, it makes sense for these older movies because the camera's so goddamn big. You can't move it around a whole bunch, so then you'd adapt a play. And you can see that when you watch the movie, most of the scenes are people in a room talking, and then it goes to another scene, So the play was called Frankenstein: An Adventure in the Macabre. So a lot of it's based on that. She gave them an assistant, and I believe his name was Fritz in that as well. But yeah, so much of this stuff that people think about as Frankenstein is not from the novel. The novel's super different. It's way more of a science fiction story than a horror story, too,
That actually makes sense, because when I was kind of doing research about Mary Shelley, she also wrote a story called The Last Man. And that was one of the first pieces of dystopian fiction that's ever been published.
Oh, cool.
And when you say science fiction, that made me go, aha. So she's more of a science fiction nerd, this chick.
Sure. Okay, so Last Man, that's cool. I'd never heard of that. I should read it. That came out, so she wrote that later after this one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And, of course, so here's the deal with lots of genius women authors before a certain time. This was released anonymously because it's a girl. Mary Louise Alcott have to do the same thing. One of the Austen sisters, right? They had to release, Jane Austen, I think, had to release that anonymously. That's insane, but whatever. Just because we're talking about Mary Shelley, we don't have to get into the movie immediately, but I wrote several notes just during the credits of the movie at the beginning. Did you notice anything that pissed you off in the credits of this movie?
No.
Okay. So the introduction is before the credits, right? Yeah. Where the guy comes out?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, this is going to be scary, basically is what he says. And I love that. I've seen that in other old movies too. That's great, right?
Yeah, I like that too. It's like being at a matinee.
Yeah.
And the guy comes out to kind of get everybody ready for what's about to happen. I love that shit.
Yeah. I think, and this is just a thought I'm having right now, but I wonder if they do that because in the early movie-going days, the only other time you went to the theater before was for theater, for plays and opera and live stuff. So, I think it's like kind of making that connection by like, here's a guy in front of a curtain starting with, so it feels like you're at the theater. I don't know. But so then it gets into the credits, and the first credit is Carl Laemmle Presents Frankenstein, produced by Carl Laemmle Jr. Now, is that the same guy, or is that two Carl Laemmles?
So that's his son?
Okay. And then you found a picture of Laemmle that looks like me, and here's the deal. Okay, lots of Whitest Kids fans, especially on our Reddit, are constantly saying, this looks just like Timmy, and anyone with black hair and big eyes, oh my god, it's exactly... No, it's not, okay? It's just someone with black hair and big eyes, okay? Fucking leave me alone. But this guy, I felt that does look like me. It's Carl Laemmle Jr. Is that the picture you sent me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it does look like me. And my grandpa, I think, looks even more like my grandpa on my dad's side. So I was asking my dad, he's got a picture of his dad when he was like 20 or 30, so I could show you, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. So.
Did you look like that in your yearbook photo? Because I think that photo, that kid is like 18 or 19.
You know what? I bet I did. And I wonder, I think I have an online thing of that somewhere I could find out. But yeah, you know what? But yeah, you're right. I'm looking at it again. Jeez, man. You know what? My wedding photo, I bet I look like that. Because he's got like the flower on it and stuff. Yeah, you're right, though. It's got, what is it, the eyes? This poor bastard doesn't have any dimples, though. So, wonder if he ever got laid. That's the only reason I've ever got laid is my dimples. Anyways.
The photo that you took of yourself as Tammy Winches the first time.
Yes. Yeah.
Is what we
sure. Yeah. It's weird, right? I also I know that I have a look that looks old-timey, right?
Mm-hmm. And what's so fucking mind-boggling is that Mary Shelley was 18 or 19 when she wrote this story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a ghost story competition type thing of why it was written.
They're like sitting around, right? Because her husband is a famous writer.
Mm-hmm.
A poet, right? Percy Shelley?
Yeah, his name's Percy, yeah.
Percy. Who's out there fucking guys named Percy? Anyway.
Which everybody thought he was the original author of this because there was like a foreword written in the first publication of it.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is, like, she was 18 or 19. This guy, Carl's son, was 18 years old himself when he became the head of production at Universal Studios.
Holy shit. Wow.
Which was founded by his father. So an 18-year-old's ghost story has become one of the most famous stories ever written.
Mm-hmm.
And an 18-year-old that's head of a fucking studio is like helped make one of the most famous horror films ever created. It's just such a mind fuck.
So this movie is made by moody teens, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because it's super goth and moody, right? Okay, so let's move to the next credit. This might take a while. Okay, the next credit, and Bride of Frankenstein does the same thing because, like I said earlier, the original book Frankenstein has the bride part in it too. So the first two movies essentially are the book. In both cases, they credit based on the novel written by Mrs. Percy Shelley. That is so fucked up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing that makes that messed up too, is the next credit is adapted by the play by Peggy Webling. So Peggy gets a credit and not Mary Shelley. And I looked that up. Well, Peggy Webling was still alive and she was not married. So she had some say in that. But, Mary's dead and she was married. So of course she'll want us to just do this. That's so stupid. And I know that's the thing is this movie is getting close to 100 years old. Of course, things were more sexist and racist and yada yada. We all know that. We don't need to ruminate on it, but it's still very weird to see that. You know what I mean?
But goddamn, she had a very traumatic life, I was reading.
And she was successful and more of a big deal than her husband. And it's just like, well, sorry, you don't have a penis, so it doesn't matter.
Her, like, mom died 12 days after she gave birth to her.
Jeez.
Percy drowned.
Good. Did she like him?
You know what's so crazy is she was 16 and he was 21.
Yeah.
And they secretly, I kind of like this, just where they would meet up. They would meet up at her mom's grave, like secretly meet up there to like canoodle and shit.
They are so fucking goth. That's amazing. God, that's funny.
But ew, 21.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, the long time, and that was even a longer time ago than the movie. So, but.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, well, and so I don't know when the last time you saw Bride of Frankenstein. Bride of Frankenstein starts with the Shelleys and some other people at their party, and they're like, "Tell us a crazy story," and which is, like you said, that's kind of how it actually happened. But so the second movie actually starts with that. And then the other thing for the credits, and I don't know if it says it in the end credits or not, because I was watching it right before we started, so I kind of got up. But it says the creature played by ?
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Boris Karloff is the most famous person from this movie by far. And it's kind of funny that he didn't get credited.
Did you know that was his 82nd film?
This was?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. 82nd?
Yeah, I think he did like 170 something films.
Good God, they were only making movies for like 15 years, if that. Before, probably not even that long, maybe 10. That's crazy.
So you probably knew this. He won a Grammy Award for being the voice of the Grinch.
Oh, yep.
I did not know that was him.
Yeah, and then the singer was, the singer of the song, "You're a Mean One." He had a great name, Thurl Ravenscroft. But yeah, Boris Karloff. But does the Grinch even talk that much?
Well, he talks a little bit, but then he also was the narrator, too, I read.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
And then I went, oh my God. Like, I had that light bulb moment where I went, damn it.
Yeah, that's so many movies. I mean, good God. And then eventually he went just Karloff. He stopped, like he would just be credited as Karloff,
Does the monster have a name in the story?
No.
Or no?
No,
he's just called
it's
Monster?
Always been the creature or the monster. Yep.
The creature, the monster. Okay.
Whatever, yeah.
I'm wondering if they didn't put his name because they wanted to kind of create a little bit more lore around the character of you just don't know what it is now.
Sure. You know what else? Since
know.
he did, how many movies did you say he did before this? 100 what?
This was his 82nd.
Right. 80, okay, so he did 81 other movies. So he was probably very well known already. So maybe that's why. But I assume his picture was in the marketing, so I don't know.
Dude,
Interesting.
There was like a teaser poster for this movie that is so fucking bad ass.
It's bad?
Badass.
Oh, okay.
Holy shit. It's just that they made like the light that hits his face red and the rest of the poster is black and it says, "Warning, the monster is loose." Cool. And then it says Frankenstein at the bottom, but there's like blood dripping on the Frankenstein. Oh, I love it. How cool.
That brings us to another good point about this movie before we get too far into it is, like, that's a pretty dark poster to have in 1931. And this is one of several pre-code movies that are very famous, which means this is before they had ratings and stuff. So, but also people were just a little classier then, so there's not... there were movies with, like, tits in them and stuff, but, like, and murder. But you still, so there's things in this movie that are still awful to see. I mean, mainly drowning a little girl. And so that was cut out in a lot of different countries, and this movie was banned in a lot of countries and stuff. And the code started in 1934. So this and Dracula and The Mummy, possibly a couple of the other Universal movies, were all pre-code. And I have, like, some pre-code noir movies and stuff. And, yeah, they're just... they're still, like, by today's standards, not offensive, but there's stuff in it like, whoa, I can't believe they did that in 1930 or whatever, so.
Yeah, I kind of forget at moments how old this movie is when I'm watching it. I'm like, it kind of reminds me of some Twilight Zone episodes a little bit. The world, they have like all the fucked up faces.
Yeah.
And the girl's really, really pretty.
And they think she's ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kind of like that. This is what you expect, but since you don't get what you expect, it has to be a bad thing type feeling.
You're saying in the story they don't get what they expect?
Yeah, because Henry Frankenstein is just like, the minute he kind of acts a little not how they want him to, they kind of turn on him.
The monster, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying, what you're saying is Henry Frankenstein turns on the monster once he realizes he's not like a regular smart person.
Yeah, he's not doing what he kind of expected he was going to do. What are you expecting from reanimating a bunch of different bits of pieces of body parts that you stole?
Well, the thing is he was planning on using a normal brain. So I think in the world of the movie, he was expecting it to be a normal person. And the movie's explanation is not that like, well, you just reanimated a guy, give him some time. It's because there's an abnormal brain in it. But even Henry says at first, like, well, hold on, just give it some patience. He'll be okay in a couple days. And he never was, So in the book, the whole brain mix-up is not a thing either.
It's not.
No. Well, he's like instantly smart too. So I think when you're saying why was Henry surprised, I think it's because it's just it's the idea behind this whole fictional procedure is that when it does work, they will be just that brain reanimated. And this goes back into some other older movies. I think that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is actually like this too, where it's like, oh, people are criminals because they have weird brains.
Abnormal brain.
In this movie, the words abnormal and criminal are interchangeable when they're talking about the brain. They're like, it's an abnormal brain. Later, there's something like, we put a criminal brain. Oh, no,
Well, and then when you think about, like, kids that had autism and things like that, they kind of treated them kind of how they, like, treat the monster, where they're just like,
totally.
We don't understand this, so they're abnormal.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with them.
Put them away somewhere.
Yeah, instead of trying to, I don't know, be patient and figure out how to help them navigate this world that they don't understand.
And I mean that's what happens to the monster. I mean, the horrible things he does in this are all kind of a result of being egged on, but especially in the second one when he starts to learn to talk and he learns how to smoke a cigar and it's awesome. Smoke. And a lot of people, me included, I think I might like Bride of Frankenstein even better.
Yeah.
Has it been a while since you saw that one?
Yeah, it definitely has, but it's more entertaining than this one. This one, it's like, I cried watching this one.
Yeah. When did you cry? What part?
When he first meets the little girl, Maria.
Yeah.
When he smells the flower and smiles. She's like, oh, children just are they don't judge.
Yeah.
They don't care what you look like. But then also at the same time, I went, really shouldn't be talking to strangers.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, as far as talking to strangers go, too, this is a strange looking stranger. So
I love her. She's like, do you want to play with me?
Yeah.
And when she grabs his hand, I think is what sparked the crying.
Yeah, sure. It's a very sweet moment. And then, of course, he doesn't understand what he's doing. They're throwing these little flowers in the lake, and he's like, oh, we're out of flowers. I should throw you in the lake. Like, we're having a good time.
He's like, oh, you're not a flower?
Yeah.
Oh,
shit. I better get out of here.
Yeah, fucking run.
Well, and so the thing is, and this is in the book where he kind of develops more, but in the book he just develops more quickly. So you would think like the monster of the second movie or the third movie, they made a bunch of these original ones, would probably try to save her after he's a little smarter, My friend Casey and I wrote a screenplay years ago called The Creature about Nazis getting, Frankenstein's notes and making Nazi Frankensteins. And that did end up becoming, they made a movie like that years later called, I mean, we weren't involved in it. It was called Hitler's Frankenstein or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was that same idea basically, because it's a cool idea.
Well, wasn't he obsessed with making kind of a super soldier army and into
Hitler? Oh yeah, that's what all the Indiana Jones movies are about.
Yeah, and into witchcraft and black magic and all that shit.
That's even in the Marvel films. In Marvel Comics. In Marvel Comics, the villain, the Red Skull, is from like the science division of the Nazis.
Yeah.
And so yeah, in the first Captain America movie, for example, they're going after some Norse, some ancient Asgardian, from Norse mythology technology, and that's how they find out that they're real, that Thor's real, yada yada. But yeah, so it's always been a thing, so it makes sense. But and it's well, people have always been obsessed with this kind of thing, and it's funny, all men are obsessed with sex. I don't know about Henry; he doesn't seem that obsessed with sex, but he's definitely obsessed with creating life in a different way. So I don't know. I was like, is there a connection there? I don't know, maybe, but
You know what I wrote down at one point? This is the craziest excuse to not get married I have ever heard of in my entire life.
yeah, it's all about cold feet. But I think they do get married eventually. I think in the second film they're married. I can't remember.
But
it didn't work, man.
I went, okay, so you got engaged to this girl, and then he like disappeared basically up into that little castle.
Yeah.
And went stir crazy, and she's like, shit, like, what the fuck is going on with him? Like,
yeah.
Could you imagine getting proposed to
and then
bye. And they did go, but it's my work. It's my work.
Why don't you hang out with my handsome friend who's more level-headed?
Exactly. Fucking Victor's mustache. Yeah.
Looking good, Vic. Did you know? So in the original book, it's Victor Frankenstein and his friend is Henry. And they switched the names because they thought Victor sounded too like European or something.
Well, I just rewatched Penny Dreadful, which has Victor Frankenstein in it.
Oh,
and they call him Victor, which is cool. Like they actually called him what he was supposed to be called. So when I was watching this and he kept saying Henry, I was like, we mean Victor?
Yeah. The play did it to switch the names, and so the movie just since it was very adapted off from the play, they just did it too. But yeah, the idea was something like, oh, it sounds too harsh or too European or something, or too Germanic, so we'll change it around. It's very weird. It's like, why would you care about making the main character sympathetic? Because he's an asshole. And in this movie, this version, they don't play into it too much like you do. He does seem to kind of turn into a nice guy at the end. But in the 50s Hammer versions, like Peter Cushing's Dr. Frankenstein is the bad guy for like 7 movies.
Mm-hmm.
He even like, what is it? At one point, he like puts his brain into a recreation of his own body or something. I don't know, but it's crazy. But yeah, so it's just interesting that they wanted to make him more sympathetic. And, and it's obviously when you look at Dr. Frankenstein and the creature, it's like, okay, well, I know who I'm going to have more sympathy for is the creature. He didn't ask for this shit, And he's not even trying to be bad. It's just that the first time he meets people, one of them tries to burn him with fire. So what are you going to do? Yeah.
Fucking Fritz. When he, I also wrote down like, maybe have someone that's a little bit more competent be your assistant.
Yeah, but like, this is an important project. And who is this guy? Where did you find Fritz? He's like a weird murder hobo. I don't know. Like, where'd you find him?
Murder
like he just went to a bar. It's like, who's the drunkest guy here? Give me your biggest alcoholic. Yeah. That's a D&D term, but
it's great.
Well, yeah, Buxton and Myers. In Buxton and Myers, you know how they constantly just killed any other character I presented them with? That's what murder hobos are. Because that's a common complaint with people who play Dungeons and Dragons. Because all those games, every Dungeons and Dragons adventure basically involves a lot of travel, right? So they're just going around the countryside, killing people, murder hobo, So, but that's what Fritz, he's just like, it is very weird. And, I wonder if Mary Shelley would have been like, what?
I was like, this is this guy's like life work. He's left his fiance.
Yeah.
You're reanimating a corpse. But I guess if he went and told other people that were more competent, they probably would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're psychotic.
Yeah, maybe he needed a simpleton.
Yeah. Because they were grave robbing.
Yeah. He needed someone that was okay with all that stuff.
Yeah.
A murder hobo.
Murder.
Yeah, and so it's funny, we see them starting to experiment with all this stuff, and so he sends Fritz, who is basically Igor, but the Igor was not invented yet. The Igor was in maybe the 3rd Frankenstein movies when they started having him, but But Fritz is basically Igor. If you want a picture of the hunchback guy, that's this dude. Anyways, he goes to steal the brain, and it's from Henry's teacher, Dr. Waldman. There you go. And he. It's so funny. I love movies, right? He's like talking to his class about brains, and then they're leaving. He's like, "I'll leave these brains out so you can look at them." And one's in a jar that says normal brain, and one right next to it says abnormal brain. And then you send Fritz to do it, and Fritz is like a freak, right? So he gets into this classroom at night and is very paranoid, and he's like jumping at shadows, right? He's like, oh my God, ah. And then he picks up the normal brain. What I don't understand is he takes the lid off the jar, sets the lid down, then walks off with the normal brain, and then gets freaked out by something and drops it. It doesn't even spill out. He just drops the jar. So you didn't even need to have him get rid of the lid to justify it breaking. You know what I mean? It's like, why did he do that?
You know what I love about that scene, though, is because when the doctor is talking to the class and the little skeleton, human skeleton kind of like shakes and the whole class like erupts in laughter and like points at it and thinks it's hilarious. And then you cut to Fritz running into it and it scares the shit out of him. Isn't that why he drops the thing?
He gets scared by that. He's like, oh, and then he picks up the brain and hears a noise and he freaks out and drops it. So the skeleton doesn't do it directly, but the skeleton put him in a state of panic for some reason. It's like, you hang out around dead bodies all the time. What's your deal with this skeleton? Of course, and he takes the abnormal brain and that's the other thing is like, okay, you send this weird panicky murder hobo to get your brain. Can he even read? I don't know. Maybe he
That's what I thought too. I went, oh no, he's not going to be able to read which one says what. And he's and I went, oh, well, he grabbed the right one. Oh, well, damn it. We can't not come back with a brain.
Yeah, and they put in him. And really, it's abnormal or criminal. So that's why he can't really talk. And when the monster wakes up, he's kind of weird and he's not good at things. But he's not instantly murderous. It's like, when he wakes up and starts walking around, like Fritz comes in and Fritz is the one that fucks everything up. Because, like, the monster is up and Dr. Frankenstein and his teacher are there and they're like, it's freaky, but he's like, he thinks he's teaching him. He's like, sit down. Okay, he sat, And then Fritz comes in with his torch. He's like, what are we doing? Oh my God. And then the doctor's like, get away from him with the torch. So what does he do? He just walks around the doctor to the other side and gets in the monster's face again. It's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, he didn't listen to him at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? The monster was right to hang him.
Yep. Which is so crazy because what does Fritz do not too long before is he cuts the guy down that was like hanging.
Yeah. When they're looking for bodies. And Victor says that one won't work because it was the neck's broken, so the brain died. And it's like, that's what hanging is, you guys. Like that's when you put a noose around someone's head and drop them, it's about snapping their neck, not about choking them.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry's friend and fiance are worried about what Henry's doing up there because, like Shady said, they haven't seen him. It's like, he's supposed to be getting married to me. Where the fuck is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And so then they go to his old professor, Dr. Waldman, and the doctor's like, well, he was working on this certain kind of science, and he got more advanced in the classes, and then he said that the bodies we were getting to practice, like, biology and stuff on weren't good enough, so he was going to find his own way to do it. And basically what he says is like, he told us he's going to go get his own bodies and not to ask him where he gets them. It's like, that's suspicious.
Like, he's doing some really fucked up, nefarious shit.
Yeah, stealing bodies is messed up.
Just so you know.
Yeah, by the way, everybody. But, but it is because, you put someone in the ground and, like, that's, you miss them, you go to the cemetery, you know that they're there in some way. But nope, they're in this guy's fucking lab with some dumbass with a torch fucking with it. It's too bad. But,
I did write down his assistant is an ass.
Yeah, totally.
He's an assistant.
Yeah, oh, there you go. He puts the ass in assistant.
Yes, thank you.
So his fiance Elizabeth and his buddy Victor are worried about him. So they get the doctor Waldman and they come to Henry's building he moved into. Because the other thing, they're like, why did he move into this weird old abandoned mill or whatever? And so they go in there. and they're talking to him, and and while they're there, he just does the experiment. And they're standing there watching him, and that's when he does the famous, "It's alive!"
Oh my God. You know what? It's actually not a bad thing that he has witnesses for this, because who would actually believe him?
Yeah, yeah. I suppose when you see the monster, if you've heard about it and then you see the monster, you're like, okay. But yeah, you're right. Even then, it would probably be hard. So, but well, here's the thing. This is black and white, right? So they've always classically made Frankenstein green, but is he green?
I don't know.
He was on the posters, some of the old posters, I guess.
Is he green in the poster? Because the one I sent you, he's red.
Right. The one I sent you, I don't think he was green. So,
no.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. I didn't look that up, because there is really interesting ways that they would put makeup on, especially women in the black and white movies, so that the tones would come up the way that they wanted them to. So she might be wearing like a bluish, purplish lipstick.
So she might be green.
She might be the monster, actually.
Some of these do, but a lot of the posters that have him green are probably ones that came out well after the movie. So I don't know. I only bring that up because, like, he, talking about, like, would people believe them or not. Well, if they saw the monster, probably. And no matter what color he was, Henry is like, I created this body. It's like, okay, great, but you don't know what heads are shaped like, I guess? Because this guy's head is square. Right? It's like, you're all cocky about this shit. I'm like a god! Well, God at least knows what shape to make our heads.
At least he put him in a nice suit jacket.
Yeah, I love that. And some cool shoes. Yeah, but they go to try to talk him out of it, and he's just basically like, no, look, I'm right. And then, these old movies will just kind of cut stuff out that newer movies would feel the need to put in there. So they show the hand moving, and then they cut to other stuff. And by the next time you see Henry in his lab, the monster's just like, he's up and around, and they're talking about him, and then you see him. So Dr. Victor Frankenstein, right? Everybody always talks about Boris Karloff with this. Of course, he's it's an awesome performance, and everybody who's ever played the creature since then is compared to this, or is trying to do this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's great. But Colin Clive, who plays the doctor, is awesome.
He's awesome, but you know my favorite character is?
The dad.
That fucking dad.
Yeah. I knew you'd like him because you're an old grump like him. I'm just kidding. Yeah, the dad is, oh my God, the dad fucking rules. Baron Frankenstein. When you first see him, he's got the best hat on. He's got this like a fez kind of thing with a tassel. He's got a smoking jacket. But so after the hand moves, they cut to the fiance and Henry's friend Victor go to his dad, Baron Frankenstein, and basically be like, yeah, he's okay. Everything's fine. And the dad's like, no. If it's fine, where is he?
He's like, I know it's another girl. I'm going to go find her.
Yeah. He basically, he's like, why would he be gone? Look how hot his wife is. Like, he says that, right? He's like, he's going to be married to this very pretty woman. Where is he? Well, that's a good point,
Very good point.
If you hook a lady like that, you gotta be around,
Boris Karloff's makeup was a grayish green.
Okay, so it was.
So that it would show up like ghostly white on the black and white. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But it looks so good, man. I love that he walked backwards through the door. Because he doesn't, I guess, doesn't remember Brainiac doesn't remember how to walk through doors. But
turn
that
around.
just,
damn,
that close up. His makeup looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and, he knew how to do an expression. And, I mean, here's the deal, right? And, he was a good actor, and, he was very confident, had a good opinion of himself. But let's be honest here. Boris Karloff got hired for this job because he looks fucking scary. He's a scary-looking person.
He looks like a gaunt, he looks like a skeleton.
Yeah.
His eyes are, set back in his head.
Yeah.
And he's got, these crazy bags. But he's got this, and he's his jaw, his cheekbones are, sucked in.
I can't see you, so you don't have to have your hand in your mouth. It sounds like you have your hand in your mouth.
You know?
I can't see, because it sounded like that. But yes, well, here's the deal. Boris Karloff did lots of horror movies, and in a lot of them, there is no makeup, and he still looks scary.
He was a cool looking dude.
Yeah, for sure. Same with the Bela Lugosi.
Yep, man.
Yeah, they just don't make them like that anymore. But but the dad's attitude is just like, my son is a fucking moron. You guys are lying to me. There's no way everything's fine. I'm gonna go talk to him. Well, first he says, I'm going to go find the girl or whatever. But then he does eventually show up. Frankenstein starts freaking out because Fritz shows him the fire. They are like, oh, God, he's freaking out. Tie him up, put him in chains, put him in the cellar, right? And then they find out that he's killed Fritz at some point. And so Dr. Waldman and Henry go in. They're like, oh, God, so we got to get rid of this body. We got to put Frankenstein back in this room. And right at that moment, that's when his fiance and the dad shows up. And the dad walks in to this room. He's just like, ugh. And it just reminded me of like when my dad visited me in New York and walked into my like gross Brooklyn apartment that was in a super shady building. It was very similar to that, right? He's just like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? Yeah, but he just is like, he's like, I know nothing. I forget the lines. I didn't write his lines down specifically, but they're like, everything's fine. He's like, everything is not fine. This is crazy. He's like, we got to go get this guy. And then they find him. He's fainted or something. Henry has, because he's all screwed up because his monster killed a guy. So then they basically take him away, right? That's what they take him away.
Yeah, I think his dad just wants to go drink some more wine.
Yeah, his dad is super into his fancy alcohol.
His
grandmother's wine.
His wife, right? No.
So there's a few. Well, that's the thing is he talks about a whole bunch of different kinds of alcohol that are from different family members. But the wine they're drinking, he says, this is my grandfather's wine, and it's never open because my grandmother wouldn't let him drink. So that's the wine they have, because after they get Henry, they go, the next thing you see, well, the monster kills Dr. Waldman. But later on you see them at the wedding, so that's when the dad's talking about the wine. But let's talk about Dr. Waldman's death, because this movie is still scary. And I think one of the best scares in it is that hand going up his back.
Mm-hmm. But I get excited. I'm like, get him. Get him, monster. He's about to like rip you open with all those scalpels and shit.
Yeah, but I also get it, I get Dr. Waldman's the thing. He wants to, like, this is his student, right? Henry's his student. He feels a responsibility. So he's like, well, I got to kill this thing. So he's going to dissect it. And then, you see the hand come up the back and grab him and starts choking him and cuts away. But, because that's the thing is, even though it's a pre-code, they didn't really show murders. They don't show the little girl get drowned. They obviously show him throw her in the water, but even that was cut out of some places, because they thought that was too much. But anyways, he kills him, and then he takes off. And he's like, "I'm a split," Here's another interesting thing. Shandy, you know how men are like annoying, right? Like we're just annoying, right? And we're all know-it-alls, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the thing annoying know-it-all men say about Frankenstein all the time?
The annoying thing they say about it?
Yes, it's become an annoying thing. It's even become a meme. Is Frankenstein is actually the doctor's name, not the monster.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Right?
a lot of people get it wrong.
But here's the thing. That isn't wrong. Because in this movie, shortly after they first show the monster fully, and he gets in the chair, right? He has the monster sit in the chair. And then they open up a window, and the monster stands up, and that's when he does his famous stiff arms out in front of him, and he looks up at the sunlight. And he's like, oh. And then they turn the sunlight off, and he gets him to sit back down. And Henry, Dr. Frankenstein, says, Herr Frankenstein, be careful. So he calls the monster Mr. Frankenstein. I rest my case. You know what I mean? So it's okay to call the monster Frankenstein is what I'm saying. Because they do. And they even do it again later, I think.
It's his monster.
Yeah, he can fucking call him Frankenstein if he wants to.
I mean, it's that thing of like, you have people that always want to call like their firstborn son after themselves type of bullshit.
Yeah.
Which, the producer of this movie didn't put his name on it. He put his fucking dad's name on it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, hi, my name is Chris. Oh, what's your kid's name? Chris.
Yeah. It's never with names like that, though.
No.
It's always weird. I knew a kid in school, in like high school and stuff, Marvin the Third. right?
What is that?
I don't know.
Is it a legacy thing? Which like would kind of
I
go into this because this is
sure.
his legacy is these experiments.
Well, in this case,
So
though, this is the last name. So
yeah.
he's calling. So basically, his name would be Monster Frankenstein, if you ask Dr. Henry about it. You know. So it's because the last name is the legacy thing, right? Which is also bullshit. Like when people get married and stuff, all of it is weird. But especially naming them your first name, because to me it'd be confusing. I'm the oldest of 6 kids. If one of us had my dad's name, what the fuck? It'd be confusing because my mom yelled at him just as often as she yelled at us. You know. So
You should tell your daughter, you should be like, you know what? I was gonna name you Timmy.
you know what? There's a woman here I know. She has a kid that's one of her sons is Margaret's age, I think. Her name is Timberly.
What?
I've never heard of that before. I wonder if her dad's name is Tim, maybe. Maybe that's what happened.
Like, is that like a plural way of saying Timberland? Like
no,
the
it's like
shoes?
Kimberly. No, it's like the name Kimberly
Oh, it's like
with a T.
Timberly. Timberly.
It's Timberly, like in Kimberly. Yeah, but it's a T instead of a K.
What?
But you thought I was talking about she's named after the thing you shout when a tree falls over? Is that what you thought? Timber?
Timberly.
It's going down. My name is Timber. My folks are weird. They're super weird. We'll have a night. You don't remember? Why is my name so fucking weird? Yeah. Whatever. But yeah, it's weird. The naming thing is weird, yes. And especially when you get into third and the fourth, it's like, why do we care about this? Is it really so important that the name Marvin continues? Plus, a bunch of film nerds are probably going to name their kids Marvin anyways because of Pulp Fiction. So come on. Oh, I just shot Marvin in the face. Yeah. Or the Martian from Looney Tunes, Marvin the Martian, you know? So, who sounds a lot like Kermit the Frog. I wrote down when Fritz gets killed, F-A-F-O, Fritz, you know? Because that's what he did. He fucked around and found out.
Like, what a fucking, with the fucking whip.
Yeah, he's whipping him. After he scares him with the torch and the monster freaks out, they lock him in the cellar. The next time we see the monster, Fritz is whipping him. It's like, you are a fucking moron.
Well, thankfully, Henry was like, leave him the fuck alone. Again. Yeah. He told him again.
Yes, twice
and
now.
And he did it fucking dozen.
And so what happens on the third time? Dead. And he deserved it.
Yeah, you know, if somebody kept fucking whipping me and putting fire in my face, I'd be like, this person's a danger to me.
Time to choke a bitch. Yeah. When Fritz scares the monster with the fire and he starts freaking out, Dr. Waldman knows when to stop being scientific and just grab a piece of wood, right? Because he just grabs something and hits the monster in the head with it and knocks him out. And that's how they get him into the cellar the first time. But then after he kills Fritz, they're like, well, we need to sedate him. So he asks Henry for like a syringe needle. And Henry's like, here's a half-grain solution. I'm like, grain solution? Are they giving the monster Everclear? That sounds like moonshine, right? That's what Everclear is.
Oh, yeah.
Something, did they just shoot him full of fucking liquor? That would also explain his movements. You know? When you were a kid, was there a Halloween costume that you would always like do if you couldn't think of anything else every year? Like you didn't do it every year, but you did it more than once?
Yeah, I was either Jason or Dracula.
Okay. Dude, Dracula was one of mine, which you don't look like Dracula, but I do. So I understand why I did it. Like I'm pale and have black hair and have a widow's peak. But the other go-to for me was Mad Scientist, right? So the Mad Scientist is a lab coat. And then I had a wig that was like white frizzy hair and then weird Coke bottle glasses. So now that I'm saying it out loud, I suppose the white frizzy hair was because of Doc Brown from the Back to the Future movies. But when you look at Henry in this movie, this is the prototype of the mad scientist character.
Oh, yeah.
And he does not look like that. He's hot. You know, he's like a hot man, has a cool haircut. That unfortunately got ruined by Nazis 10 years after this. But, you know, and it's still being ruined by Nazis, right? That haircut with the longer hair and the shaved sides. He looks cool, though. It's just like they fucked up that and the mustache with Chaplin. It's too bad. Anyways, but it's just funny that was my mad scientist because this is the mad scientist and he just looks like a guy. you know?
Dude, he's so good in this. Colin Clive.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was saying a little bit ago. He's great.
Holy shit.
And then you said the dad. Then you said that you like the dad, so we started talking about the dad. But
No, I mean, come on.
the dad actor was born in 1858, by the way. I looked that up. I'm like, that is so fucking... But you know, it's not that long ago, relatively, you know?
Holy crap.
Right? All these people probably were, because this is 1931. Okay. I think Colin Clive was like 1890s or something. But I'm sure the woman was probably younger. I forget the gal's name, but I'm sure she was younger. But yeah, you know, like some of them were born in the 1800s. But you know what my daughter says when she's talking to me about stuff? She'll be like, was it the same way in the 1900s when you were a kid? I was like, hold on. The 1900s? But I mean, technically, yes, that's when we were kids.
I know, because when I think of it, I think of like this movie. Like, this is the 1900s.
Yes, this is the 1900s. Not even. This is the 1930s. The 1900s is when The Wizard of Oz was written, not even when they made it like that. You know what I mean? The 1900s is fucking Teddy Roosevelt was president. You know? That's the 1900s. So, anyways, but I guess, you know, if she has kids or whatever, when she's older, people will be like, oh, you were alive in the 2000s. But, well, she wasn't. She's the 2010s, I guess. But anyways, but yeah, they're all good actors. They're all classy. And Mae Clark, who plays Elizabeth, let's see, she was born in 1910, so she was only 21 in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of children surrounding this movie.
Yeah, young people. I bet Colin Clive was maybe not that old. 1900s, so he was only 10 years older than her, which is pretty decent for Hollywood standards. But yeah. But yeah, so he wasn't that old either. He was 31. Ooh, look at this. Colin Clive, resting place. Okay, born, well, this is sad. Okay, Colin Clive, born January 20th, 1900, died June 25th, 1937. So he was only 37 years old.
Oh, damn. What'd he die of?
I don't know. I'll look that up in a second, but I want to tell you the next part. Resting place, ashes scattered at sea. Oh, alcoholism. He had severe chronic alcoholism and died from complications of tuberculosis.
Whoa.
So, that's too bad. And Forrest Ackerman said, I saw him in death lying in a bed at a mortuary where you could go view his body, and he looked remarkably as he had when he was lying in bed in The Bride of Frankenstein. That's
Whoa.
crazy. One of his pallbearers was Peter Lorre, a very famous actor who, I don't know if he ever played Igor, but Igor's voice is often based off of Peter Lorre. Yeah, Peter Lorre, you know? Yes, master. So, anyways, interesting. That's, you know, it's fun with an older movie because it is so long ago that there's a bunch of weird shit that's been forgotten like this, you know?
Yeah.
Like weird little facts. Where it's like when we talk about, you know, like when we had that guy on to talk about his new movie Weapons, it's like, well, we knew all that because it just happened, you know? You know, that guy, you know, that guy, some guy. Whatever.
I will say, though, even though most of this movie was like on a soundstage, it looked really cool.
It does.
Suppose somebody had to have painted that backdrop, and it looked awesome.
The one when they're outside?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a sheet with painting on it. Yeah, it's cool.
And of course, I immediately am like, Ed Wood loved this movie.
Yeah, well, at the time, then Ed Wood did it because it was cheap. Because that was 20 years later when he was making movies, you know. So, but there is, you know, this kind of thing they did in Dracula as well, especially in Nosferatu. But there's an expressionism that came out of not necessarily wanting to be expressionistic, but out of like, well, we can't go shoot this outside because the camera's the size of a fucking Buick, you know. So we got to just do it here. You know, so it's more like the suggestion of the outside versus looking like the outside. But it works, you know. And then obviously the sets are beautiful and look really cool and detailed. Like the lab is awesome. Like the
lab is,
you know.
so cool.
And there's a lot of things that every time they've done Frankenstein, they've done it like this. Even though this is not very close to the book, they still, even when they readapt the book, they do this. I'm sure the Del Toro, the new one, hasn't. The monster is often similar, the doctor looks similar, and the lab always looks like this. You know? In like a cool stone basement kind of thing, weird tubes and shit everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. He has such a great line after the monster starts moving his hands, and he's like, now I know what it feels like to be God.
Yeah. Henry, in the name of God, I know what it feels like to be God, right? That got cut out too, in a lot of places.
Really?
Because it's blasphemous.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Fucking God's not real. Shut up. Anyways, but yeah, it's a great line, and yeah, it gets into that weird, the weird science of this. It does. Yeah, you mentioned the movie, but it is the weird science of like the God like feeling of bringing something back to life. But so the thing he says that works is he's talking to Dr. Waldman, and he says that he took the violet ray that Dr. Waldman told him about it, and he found something better than the violet ray and better than the ultraviolet ray, and it's something a ray that he can produce with electricity that'll bring people back to life. So what I wrote down is like, okay, bringing dead bodies back to life is cool, but they kind of gloss over the fact that he invented a new color. Right? They say this is better than violet. It's like, wait, you made a new color? Right? That's what I thought. I'm like, wait. Let's go back up here, Henry. Maybe instead of creating a guy that's going to kill a little girl, you could just sell paint. And do great. Could do great.
Also, I always felt like his teacher's reaction to him actually reanimating a corpse with different body parts is so lackluster. You think it's because he's like more afraid of like what he's done? Like,
sure.
What have you fucking done?
I think so. He's just shocked. And also, he knew that he was doing it already. He's very no-nonsense, too. He's like, this is a monster. Fucking kill it. Like, he says that from the moment he sees it. Yeah. He's like, kill it. Gotta kill it. And, yes, you gotta feel bad for the monster being created and born into a world he never wanted, all that stuff, right? Okay. And obviously, all the violence he commits is accidental or as a response to someone treating him like shit. Sure. However, Dr. Waldman, it's like, well, he's not wrong either. He's like, this is horrible, and we should kill it right now. And no one ever listens to him. You know what's cool, though, is this actor loved being a heroic doctor because he's also Dr. Van Helsing in Dracula. Yeah. Which came out the same year. And he was one of the heroic doctors in The Mummy. But you're right, he's just down to business right away. He's like, fucking kill this thing. You gotta kill it.
I guess he's more a doctor and not a scientist.
Right. But there is a science to what he's teaching, though. He's talking about brains and biology and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there's different science departments.
Yeah, it's the medical sciences. So if he is a medical doctor, it's still science, I have a brother who's that, so.
I just find it so interesting where it's, science is based on, like, cause and effect. Like, this is, positive, negative, things like that. It's evidence-based. You've done all these tests to go like, okay, this is what causes this and yada, yada, yada. And I love when he says this is what it feels like to be God, because it's like there is no scientific evidence that one exists. So it's a really cool concept. And damn, I got to read this book. Is anything like that in this book? Since she's kind of a science fiction person, does she talk about stuff like that in the book?
Yes, the book is all that. The book is called Frankenstein or the Modern Prometheus. So that right there should tell you you're going to get deep. And it's an epistolary novel, which means it's presented as a series of letters. I think it's mostly actually letters written by his friend Henry. But what's very weird is that Dracula, the original Dracula written by Bram Stoker, is also an epistolary novel.
Yeah, it's all the letters.
Yeah, so the two foundations of modern horror are based on books that are like, here's a bunch of letters, so it's weird. But yes, to answer your question, that's the thing is, the monster starts talking right away, or very quickly, like I said, and everything he says is like stuff like that, like questioning his own reality, the fact that he didn't give him a name, so he's this like living thing with a consciousness that doesn't know what it is, because it doesn't have a label, it doesn't have a name, so it's a lot of that kind of stuff. Like you said, it's like, well, we don't know anything about God, so this must be what God feels like. You know what I mean? Which is weird because science is basically what religion, in a way, it should have replaced religion. Because religion really started to tell people, oh, why does the sun come up? It's because there's a chariot in the sky of some god pulling it, in Olympic religion, the Greek religion, right? Stuff like that. Oh, this is why the grass grows. This is why all this happens. This is why we're here. A guy created us, right? So once people started saying like, no, the sun comes up because it's actually not moving, our planet is moving, right? So once they figured that out, why didn't we just drop the God stuff? Well, by that time, religion had a pretty big foothold into society, So, but so it is interesting to combine it like this again. Yeah.
Okay, so the Penny Dreadful television series sounds more like the novel.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never watched it. I should.
It's great because it's the same thing where he's like, you didn't even name me. There is no God. Like, a man created me.
Yeah, that's a lot of that, too, in the book. Well, they were atheists, the Shelleys. They were, like, really forward-thinking.
Oh, yeah, they were like these political activists, weren't they?
Yeah, for sure. And Percy Shelley was atheist. I'm assuming Mary was, too. But
Interesting.
So that all plays it. I should see that show, too, because I like Eva Green's boobs, and I'm sure they're in the movie because she I think she forces people to show her naked, so... Anyways.
Dude, I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's just all of your favorite characters on one show. It's like Dracula's there and Wolfman's there and Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of thing.
That's basically what it is.
Well, I don't have enough patience for TV and the ADHD thing and all that, so it's hard for me to like watch a show completely. But here's the deal. In the 50s, they had Bud Abbott and Lou Costello meet Frankenstein, and that movie's got Frankenstein, it's got the Wolfman, that's got Dracula, played by Bela Lugosi, no less. And it even has the Invisible Man, voiced by Vincent Price, towards the end. So, but so you can just watch that. But no, that show's always seemed interesting. And then they did like a spin-off show, too.
Cool.
And that's the thing, is this has inspired so much stuff. And, something very direct, like obviously the movies, but even Penny Dreadful, I would say, is a pretty direct, if you're actually taking the monster and going with it, so.
I do want to talk about him throwing that girl in the water a little bit.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the most devastating scenes in a movie is her father carrying her dead body through the town that's celebrating. I don't know if they're celebrating this wedding because these are like predominant people in the town.
Yeah. It's because the Frankensteins have such a foothold in whatever this town is that, they're celebrating the son's wedding. Yeah.
It is just so... People like don't notice right away like what the fuck is going on. And then it's just...
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's awful. And it's still, there's a few things, like I said, the hand going up the back is scary. But the whole scene with him killing Maria and then, yes, the dad carrying her, it's just, it's heart-wrenching, and it still is. And I don't know, there's always there's plenty of other examples of disturbing, emotional stuff in movies. But, man, this one still gets way up there as far as just devastating and sad. And, and I hate it when people do this, but I have a daughter, man. It's like, that's hard for me to watch, Because you think I don't worry about that constantly, So, fuck. It's crazy.
I mean, she was being so kind to him.
Yeah. And he didn't know he wasn't being kind either,
I mean, after he did it, he obviously realized, oh,
I accidentally did the thing to her that I did to those other guys on purpose. Shit,
Yeah, that whole thing of like not realizing
Your
that...
own strength.
Yeah, there it is, your own strength. What kind of pisses me off about this movie is that like they don't hold Henry accountable at all because he created this thing. If he wouldn't have done this, that girl would still be alive.
Yeah, I think because he takes the initiative to go track him down is why they're okay with it, maybe. And I think that comes back a little bit in the second movie. In the Hammer ones with Peter Cushing playing Dr. Frankenstein, he's like, I think the first or second movie ends with him being hung. Like he gets killed and then he comes back in some fucking weird way. I can't remember, but So yeah, but in this one it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go with him and kill this guy. And that's kind of it. And then when he gets thrown off the windmill, they're like worried about him. So
I mean, there's that whole thing of like, should the parents be held accountable for the actions of their children? There's that whole argument.
And I agree with that. Again, as a parent, it's like, well, these kids are learning some of this stuff from their parents. I mean, also, there's the internet and pretty much all these modern school shooters and mass shooters. they're being radicalized online. But there's still a responsibility there. And shit, maybe it's just talking to kids. I talk to my daughter all the time. I would know. Yeah, you don't always know everything. There could be secrets. But I feel like I would know if she was like hanging out in Nazi chat rooms. She'd probably say something to clue me in because I talked to her. But people don't talk to their kids. So talk to your kids and talk to your monsters. If you make a monster, you got to spend quality time with them. All right?
Or how I like to say under my breath when there's like last night when I was trying to get to work on the train, these like two moms, and they had 4 tiny little children. They had to have been 3 or 4 that were just running in circles where people were trying to walk to get on the train and off the train, and they were just letting them run around, and people kept running into them, and I almost ran into one of them and knocked him over. And I was just like, get control of your double spawn.
Yeah, and if you said anything, they'd be like, "Oh my God, you're a horrible monster for suggesting I should parent my kids." That's how those people are.
It's just like, where is the parenting being done? Like, the subway is not a fucking playground.
Right. There's only one place that's playground. The playground.
Yeah.
Don't bring your kids to the subway. Don't bring your children anywhere. Please, let's just all agree to stop doing it. But Walmart, you're at the grocery store, and there's always some fucking kid going crazy. And the parents like, it's like, no, teach them to be responsible with their own words and body when they're in public. Like,
if they can.
Yeah, there's kids that can't because they have whatever going on. Sure, fine. Yeah. But those parents often are like more on top of it anyways because they've been having to deal with this shit and it's extra parenting. So a lot of times those end up being better parents than parents of kids without those issues, So yeah, but yes, Henry does not really take any responsibility. And then if you watch the second one, it starts out with him being like, "Oh God," but then he just kind of gets sucked back into it. Another guy finds his notes, but then Henry's like, "I'll get back into it too."
Okay, so you brought back to life this thing that killed 3 people, mentally paralyzed your bride.
Yeah.
Trampled like a couple of people. And then you're like, yeah, let me just do it again. I can refine this.
Yeah, it's like an addict.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I actually wrote this down. It's interesting, earlier in the movie, the scene where the fiance and the best friend are talking to the dad. And at first they're trying to lie to him, say Henry's fine. And then eventually it's like, okay, yeah, we're all worried about Henry. And I wrote down like, this is a pretty cool thing to need an intervention for. It's like he's not doing heroin. He's not drinking too much. He's not, what was that one girl back on that intervention show that was huffing the keyboard cleaner, the dust thing. Anyways, it's not that. No, he's like, Henry, we need to talk about your mad science.
Please stop reanimating people.
You need to start going to MSA.
What a crazy movie that would be, wouldn't it? Like, that would definitely be like a...
Mad Scientist Anonymous?
A horror comedy where it's just like, they have to have an intervention with the guy. And then there's just like zombies. That's why there's so many zombies.
Yeah, you have Victor Frankenstein, Dr. Herbert West, Dr. Henry Jekyll. There's a few you could have, There's a lady, the witch from Troll 2. I don't know. But yes, that'd be kind of funny. What's the name of the Invisible Man is a mad scientist, too.
Yeah.
Dr. John something? But he's driven crazy by his serum or what have you. So anyways, yeah, that's a funny idea. Like intervention for doing crazy shit. You could have like, I don't know, the guys who made RoboCop. I don't know. It's time to stop talking about that idea. I think we get it. We all get it. We all understand that's a good idea. Okay. I don't need any more examples.
Did you get sad when the mob sets the windmill on fire?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is he didn't deserve it, but it's also hard to argue against their motives, But yeah, it's too bad that it came to that, I guess is what I would say.
Man, it's crazy when he throws his fucking body over the side of the ledge and he hits the windmill. Holy shit.
Did you notice the effects when he's up there on the balcony and the monster has Dr. Frankenstein in his hands? So they're kind of see-through. And that's that old style, just like in the 50s, they did it with a lot of giant animal movies where it's like, oh, it's a huge ant or whatever. The kind of projection or whatever they're using, well, it's a little bit transparent. So in that scene, you can see through the monster a little bit when he's up on the balcony. But then he throws Dr. Henry off, and it's clearly a dummy, and it just like gets fucked up. Yeah, it hits the windmill.
He's like so limp.
Yeah, and then it hits the shed, and it's very surprising that he's not dead. You asked me if I got sad. Did you get sad?
I'm sad because it's like, why is this always the go-to when you don't understand something, to have a mob? Mm-hmm. And then that's how you deal with it. You just want to set it on fire and not try to figure out why this happened.
Well, when it happens in a movie, the answer is this movie. But yes, this was happening obviously in real life for many, 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 many years before this. But yeah, well, we're afraid of the things we don't understand. And we also are lazy and want easy solutions. So when someone kills a child, you're like, well, kill them, rather than trying to capture them. And actually, the mayor, and he's not the mayor. The burgomaster, which I looked up. A burgomaster is basically a mayor, but that's what they called him at these kind of Bavarian villages, is the burgomaster. So the burgomaster says, bring him back alive. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, why don't we set him on fire?
Yeah, if you bring him back alive if you can. But get them at least.
But that's the thing, because they say, start it on fire. So it's one dude who, takes it from, an organized search party into a riot.
Yeah. There's such a cool shot up in the windmill when they're looking through the turn thing.
The wheel that's turning the windmill inside.
Yeah.
That wheel turns because of the things on the outside, then that works the grinder. That's how you make flour. But, yes, that shot. It's a close-up on Henry through the rungs of this wheel thing, the little bars of it, and then a close-up on, it's a great couple shots. And as soon as you said there's a cool shot in the windmill, I'm like, oh, that's the same one I wrote down. I know it, This is awesome.
It's so good. There was a lot of good shots in this movie.
Yeah, James Whale was a genius,
There was a lot of good pan shots. There was one in the beginning with Fritz and Henry when they first showed up to find out what was going on, and there's just this pan of them kind of going to the staircase where I was like, that's really cool. I mean, I guess it's been so long since I've seen it that I just didn't remember how cool some of it was.
I'm trying to look up how big cameras were then, and I had no idea about this. The chronophotographic gun was invented in 1882 by Etienne Jules Marie, a French scientist and photographer. It could shoot 12 images per second, and was the first invention to capture moving images on the same chronomatographic plate using a metal shutter. And when you look at it, it's a fucking gun. And it's got a Tommy gun. It looks like a Tommy gun thing on top of it. I assume that's a film canister. But it looks like it's a gun. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day, including making movies with guns.
Yeah, that's why I like doing some of these kind of movies, just because I want to learn. And also, looking around my room, right behind me is a big Frankenstein thing that I picked up. I have a Nutcracker Frankenstein. I also have a cookie jar that's ceramic of his head. It's like a little bust, and you open the top of his head and put your cookies inside. There's just something about that character.
Yeah. For those just joining us, I'm not talking to Rob Zombie. This is Shandy. But that guy's fucking obsessed with Frankenstein. But no, you're right. Well, I'm sure I have Frankenstein stuff too. You know what? If you like horror movies, you got stuff with Frankenstein on it. You know what I mean? He's the one. I mean, he's right up there, right? It's crazy.
He's like a little kid that's just kind of rediscovering everything. He's the most innocent of all the monsters, I feel like.
In Halloween, Michael Myers at one point stabs, when he kills that lady's boyfriend, the guy with the glasses, and then he goes back up with the ghost sheet on. He stabs that guy, shoves a knife into him, and kind of pins him to a wall. And then he looks at him, and he does this head turn like when puppies do it, and it's very cute, Mm-hmm. So he does that, and to me, that's those monsters of the 80s, like Michael Myers and Jason especially, that's kind of going all the way back to Frankenstein, where they're more evil on purpose. However, there is that kind of childlike innocence too,
It's very Leatherface.
Yeah. Leatherface, and and he's a little different because he can vocalize kind of. Well, maybe that makes him more similar to Frankenstein, I suppose. because Jason and Michael never talk. But yeah, that's a good point. He is kind of Frankenstein-y. Although he's just the product of a fucked up childhood and probably inbreeding. I know we talked about that on one of the Texas Chainsaw episodes. But anyways, but yes, that's a good connection there. There's a similarity there. And fascination, with females because Frankenstein does the great thing you always want to see a monster do: sneak into a window and hit on chicks.
Dude, why the fuck did he lock the goddamn door?
I don't know. I don't know why he did that.
I don't know. I guess he thought he was protecting her because he thought he was in another part of the house. But, what a cool scene. I was like, oh, fuck, he's creeping in the background.
Yeah.
But when he reaches out for her and she stands up and, gets out of his reach, I love that shit. It's so good. She's sitting on the lounge chair or whatever, and he's behind her, and he kind of, puts his hands out to grab or touch her. She doesn't know he's behind her, but she stands up and walks out of his reach and then turns. I love that shot. It's so cool.
You like that kind of thing when they almost know, but they don't know yet, that kind of thing.
Yeah, she doesn't even know she's in danger. So she's just organically standing up, not realizing that she's getting out of this thing's grasp.
Yeah, I love that.
So cool.
It's a good way to build up tension because as the audience, you see him in the background, you know where this shit's going. But the scary thing is you don't know when. And so and I was like, oh, not then yet, And so it's kind of playing on the same thing we saw when he kills the doctor early on. When the doctor's talking about dissecting him, they show that the monster is waking up, right? Mm-hmm. They show his eyes flutter and stuff like that. So you know, and then you don't, but you don't know when. You know what's going to happen, but you don't know when. And then you see that hand come up. And so this is the same things. You don't know, oh, God, there's a hand again. Oh, she didn't get touched by the hand this time,
Do you think he didn't kill her because he learned what he did to that little girl?
Yeah, probably something like that. Or, since he wasn't by the water, there wasn't a way for him to kill her accidentally as easily in her room as there was with the girl by the lake. But, it could be he learned too, because like I said, in the second movie, he has learned more. And I think he just saw a pretty flower again, is kind of what he thought of this woman. Because she's had that beautiful long train on her wedding dress too.
Oh, that's awesome. Of another pretty flower.
Yeah, right? Well, it seems that way, I think. That's probably why King Kong went after Fay Wray 2 years after this, And with Frankenstein's monster, okay, maybe there's a sexual urge there. With King Kong, probably not.
Wait, so King Kong came out after this?
Yeah, King Kong's 1933.
Because I was like, oh, he's like Kong when he's got Henry in his arms and he's dragging him up the stairs.
Yeah. He just starts kind of dragging him around after he knocks him out, and then he kind of fireman carries him, but yeah. What's funny is we're just a week shy of the, let's see here, 94th anniversary of the release of Frankenstein. It came out November 21st, 1931.
What?
Yeah, so last week would have been the anniversary. Yeah. Wow. Budget $262,000, box office $12 million. No wonder they still make these fucking movies. But there has been monster movies before, like Nosferatu and stuff, and this and Dracula came out the same year. I'm not sure which was first. Dracula was first, okay. And that was a big ticket. That one made money. So they were like, well, let's keep doing this. And actually, wow, look at this. Bela Lugosi wanted to play Henry Frankenstein. And then Carl Laemmle wanted Bela Lugosi to play the monster.
I mean, I don't want to imagine a world where the head of production was like, yeah, we're not going to do this movie. That these movies just didn't exist. Yeah,
it'd be different. Because, all the stuff we like kind of came from this. And, the Rob Zombie joke, look at that. And I'm not saying Rob Zombie is necessarily super important, but he's made some good horror movies and some good music. And, that's a person who, his whole inspiration is these movies, But then you look at, the Munsters, obviously, the Addams Family, but those, so many things. The world would be very different because it's just and this even beyond being a horror fan or a science fiction fan or the pop culture at all, this imagery, especially Frankenstein and Dracula, is very tied into just what we think of as evil and monstrous and bad people. And when you picture any kind of person being evil, it's in a dark, evil castle. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, there's just so much here that's very much a part of our language, not just filmic language, but anything, So it's one of the most influential movies ever made. It's alive. is, probably right up there in the top 5 most famous movie lines, and probably one of the only movie lines that people quote that is actually in the fucking movie. No one says, "May the force be with you." No one does.
Nope.
Nobody says it. There's a lot of movies like that where they get it wrong. But It's Alive, it's only 2 words, and humans are fucking stupid, so we can handle 2 words.
Anytime I hear "It's alive, it's alive," I think of the Oingo Boingo song, like the Weird Science theme song.
Starts with the audio of this, right?
Yeah. Instead of Boris Karloff, it was like a woman.
Yeah, a hot woman.
Who shows up in panties.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be a very different movie if Frankenstein was a hot chick. Although I guess that is Bride of Frankenstein. The other interesting thing about Bride of Frankenstein, the bride is in it for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, hardly at all.
Yeah. And the only thing she does is kind of walk around and scream, and then it's over.
Yeah, but it's so iconic, though.
Yeah. I mean, like in 4 minutes might be too little. It might even be too much. I don't know. It's probably close to correct because she's barely in it. But yeah, just those couple minutes, boom.
Whoever's doing the hair and makeup, holy shit.
Because like I said, that character's in the original book, but I mean, they don't. So like, it never says like she had cool wavy hair.
It looked like her hair was electrocuted. Or she got hit by lightning. Yeah.
Because then in Young Frankenstein, what's her name? That happens to her hair at the end. God, I love that actress. She's in Clue too. What is her name? I can't remember. Anyways, Flames. That lady. Yeah. Anyways, wow. There's just so many interesting things about this. About the screenwriter Robert Flory wrote a treatment entitled "The New Adventures of Frankenstein." Like as a sequel. What a stupid name.
I don't know if the first time was such an adventure.
No. Now for him, well maybe, but also what? Well, I don't know. Have we talked about this movie? I mean, I know we've talked about it, but have we talked about it enough?
I think so. I still can't believe she wrote this when she was 18 years old.
Yeah, man, and yet, what do we always say in regards to horror movies? No one listens to kids. But here's people listening to kids. And it made one of the best movies ever, right? An 18-year-old producer based on an 18-year-old's book, and I bet that lady that wrote the play wasn't very old either, so... And honestly, right? I mean, there's a goth energy, a gothic, doomy, gloomy energy to this that probably would not be the same if it weren't made by kids. I mean, very young people. So, I don't know,
Because this almost feels like a kid telling you a nightmare that they had.
Yeah, it's got a very legendary quality to it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good. Have you seen it? If you haven't seen it, you should. I wonder
if you have not seen the original Frankenstein.
Well, everybody's got their blind spots.
That's true.
I just saw Thelma and Louise for the first time yesterday.
I still can't believe that was the first time you've seen that.
Yeah, well, believe it, motherfucker.
You have now, and man,
yeah, it's
that
great.
movie rules.
And that sex scene, Jesus Christ, what a hot scene. And it's very short. But man, when he's like taking Gina Davis's panties off and he kisses her right above the hoochie, it's incredible.
We can't go an episode without you saying hoochie.
I know, but the word hoochie does not do credit to how sexy that scene is, because the word hoochie is not a sexy word, So, but you know what I mean, right? That scene, like, whew, when he takes his shirt off, it's like, oh my God. Well, it's like, he's still handsome or whatever, but he's, it's just like any guy. He's been an actor. He's been in the public light for a long time. And, there's good and bad things about him now. You know too much about every celebrity, whatever. And then you kind of forget what they're like and what made them famous. And here's his first role. It's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
And him, my favorite Brad Pitt movie is Legends of the Fall.
I've never seen that. That's like classic hot Brad Pitt, right? He's got like long hair and everything. He
would make a good Lestat, I think.
He wasn't he? No. Tom Cruise was Lestat.
Yeah.
He was the journalist guy, right? I also haven't seen that movie. I've never seen a lot of vampire movies. We talked about this. I haven't seen that or Bram Stoker's Dracula. We talked about that when we were doing vampire movies. When we picked 2 strange, fucked up, weird versions of vampire movies.
I think if you're gonna watch another vampire movie, you gotta watch Bram Stoker.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, that's one I've been wanting to. There's a lot of movies, Shanthrex. I've tried.
Too many.
I watched 3 yesterday. So I'm doing what I can. I'm out here. I'm doing the work. I watched 3 movies yesterday.
What else did you watch?
So I watched Thelma and Louise, and then I watched Mean Girls. And then I asked you, well, I'm on a feminist slant. What's the next one? I gave you my options, but you got stuck on the train or something. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to watch Furiosa, because the thing is these are all movies that were on my stack that I bought that I haven't watched yet. And as we always say, I'd like to watch everything I buy. Yeah. However, some movies are long. And you can't, I'm not going to watch them on a Monday night after work, right? So this is Saturday yesterday, and I had time, now I'll watch the 2.5-hour movie. Because with my bad ADHD, a 2.5-hour movie still takes 4 or 5 hours, literally. So this one didn't, but sometimes it does. So, the really, really good movies often don't. Like Thelma and Louise, I only paused 3 times, which is huge. Okay. Any final thoughts?
Is the monster really dead?
No.
We don't know.
Well, no, there's a sequel.
But I'm saying, if you didn't know that there was a sequel, and
right.
Imagine seeing this for the first time,
yeah.
when it came out in the theater.
Sure.
That would have been my first thought, was okay, we're not back here at the scene when the fires died down and we haven't pulled out a body. Is he really dead? Is he still alive? He's alive! Alive!
Having grown up on sci-fi and comic book stuff, my thing is always, if you didn't see him die, they're definitely not dead.
Can you do your "It's alive"?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! I don't remember his voice, but maybe I got it. I don't know. I'm sure at the time, 1931, people don't even know about fucking sequels very much yet. There's serials, but there's not movie sequels. So they're probably like, oh, he's dead, but goodbye, Frankenstein. I'm going to move on with my life. And then, 3 years later, whoa,
He wasn't dead?
And he's got a girlfriend.
Wow, to live in a world where there weren't sequels.
Wow. Or just where you didn't know. And we lived in that world briefly, my friend, where it's
true.
You'd have to watch a trailer to find out. I wouldn't even know a movie was coming until I saw a trailer or a poster for it at the movie theater.
Yeah, or if I saw something on the magazine at the grocery store.
Yeah. Like Entertainment Weekly or Fangoria.
Yeah, or just a commercial.
Yeah. I didn't know that in 1999, I did not know Weird Al had put out a new album, which was at the time Running with Scissors, one of his best. I didn't know he had put it out until I was at the record store. I'm like, there's a new Weird Al album. Now it's, God. Now people freak out when they know a movie's coming. We need a trailer. It's hold on. You don't need a trailer. It's not fucking insulin. Okay?
No.
You should be grateful that they even make trailers. In fact, sometimes I wish they wouldn't. Because a lot of modern trailers are poorly cut and show you the whole fucking movie. If you want to hear more comments like that from me, watch any episode of Trailer Boys that I appear in, because that's all I ever talk about. I always say the trailer gave too much away, and I'm like, these trailers are all too long. If it's over 2 minutes, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I never understand why they're longer than that.
Right. I don't want to know anything. Just show me stuff that I think it looks cool, so I want to see it.
Just show me who's in it, and if there's characters that are a surprise, don't put those in it. But
right.
Just show me a little bit. Just give me a little taste.
There was a year in fact, it's the year I just mentioned. 1999 had some fantastic trailers. The 3 I'm thinking of, actually 4. So The Matrix, Fight Club, Being John Malkovich, and Three Kings. They all came out that year, by the way. 1999 is considered one of the best years for film in history, but 39 is probably the top because it had Wizard of Oz and Gone with the Wind. Anyways, but those, Fight Club, Being John Malkovich, The Matrix, and what's the other one I said? Three Kings. So those all had trailers that made me want to see the movie. In none of those cases were the large twists and turns in each of those movies ever advertised. The Matrix, their whole thing was, what is The Matrix? That was their whole marketing ploy. All you saw in the trailer was slow motion dodging bullets. What's this all about?
Yeah.
Fight Club I thought was going to be a boxing movie.
Me too.
Three Kings I thought would be a normal war movie, not a comedy heist movie. And what's the other? Oh, Being John Malkovich. Yeah, no one had any fucking clue where that was going to go. You could have advertised that whole storyline and people be like, huh? What?
We're still figuring that movie out. I still think about that movie like periodically where I'm just like, what the fuck?
That has some high emotional parts in it that really hit me. And then adaptation is even more confusing. So, anyways. Hey, well, if we're done, let's talk business so people can hear about all this cool business for our business.
Oh, yeah. We have a Patreon. You cannot search for it, I realize, because it's not meant for kids. So you have to go to the link on our website on earnfulofpopcorn.com, or there's a link on our Instagram at earnfulofpopcorn. There's also a link on our YouTube channel, which is Earnful of Popcorn Podcast. Patreon's only $2.99. Super cheap.
There's stuff for it.
Yeah, you can join there. We have Earnful of Popcorn t-shirts. One's black and one is a slime green.
Slime green? Did you say slime green instead of lime green?
Lime green.
No, slime green. Let's do it because it's a horror movie thing, right? Slime. Yeah. It's slime green. Fuck lime green. This is slime green.
It's slime green, and then there's
same color.
Then there's black noir. I guess black noir. Yeah. There's a black t-shirt. It's the Earnful of Popcorn logo. You can get them on our website, or you can get them cheaper on Patreon. And then you also get like a card from me that I personally make, and we'll send some extra little things in it. So
yeah, she makes a card and she puts one of my nudes in it, so it's tasteful nudes. But you see my donger. How could you not?
It's just a Polaroid of your underneath your nuts. It's the under nut
balls
shot.
Night. Yeah, it's balls
night. It's balls night. It's all right.
But don't worry, dear listener. That's not true. The other what is true is that there's going to occasionally be exclusive episodes on there. Fistful of Popcorn now only will exist on Patreon, and we just did one that should be up any minute. And also, I'm going to start that movie review thing that I'm going to do, which is I watch a movie related to something we recently talked about and review that. And I still haven't done it, but the first one's going to be Dawn of the Dead 2004, because we did Dawn of the Dead on Halloween. So it'll be the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead. So it'll be, like the same thing we talked about, only if the movie had no kind of subtext. So
yeah, and come join us on Patreon and come on our thread. We talk and share about movies and shit.
I need to look there. I haven't looked on there in a while. And if you do that, we very much appreciate it. It's only $3. I belong to some Patreons myself for $3, and it seems like not very much, but if it's for good people like us, this is very much appreciated. And if there's only 5 of you, well, now it's $15. Now Shandy can maybe get into a movie in New York. I don't know, maybe a matinee. So it's cool.
Dude, when I went to go see The Crow, it was only $10 for the ticket.
Fuck yeah. And it was like a revival or whatever you would call that, right?
Yeah.
What do they call it? Repertory. That's cool.
Yeah, I was like, damn it. This is how it should always be.
Yes. Well, guess what? When you live in the middle of nowhere, it is. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, we haven't been to the movies in a little while just because we've been busy and stuff, but it is fucking cheap. And we have a nice theater. It's just that sometimes they, in this part of the world, sometimes they have faith-based films. Or some of those weird-ass Trump propaganda movies made by Dinesh D'Souza. So, whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't think faith-based movies should get theatrical releases.
Nope. Go to your church to watch that shit.
Yeah, go watch it at your church, churchy.
Churchers.
We're atheists like the Shelleys.
That's
actually no,
right.
I'm not atheist. You might have seen my stand-up bit about that. Because atheists are always talking about being atheist. And they're pretentious, and they thrive on different labels. And the only difference between atheists and religious people is that atheists don't pretend that magic is real, but they're still annoying. So I go with third option, which is I'm just waiting for everyone to fucking stop doing this. So, yeah. Okay, here's my problem with it. Is like years ago, a friend of mine invited me to a Facebook group that was Watertown Free Thinkers Facebook page here in Watertown, South Dakota. And so it was a bunch of atheists and a bunch of people who are not religious. And all they did was post stuff making fun of religious people. It's like, okay, so we're going to have a group that's all about not being religious, and all we're going to fucking talk about is religion? What?
Yeah, no.
That's what I don't like about that. And so technically I'm an atheist, but I don't call myself that.
I want to be here because I don't want to talk about all that shit.
Exactly. So why do we even have this group? So I left.
I've opted the fuck out.
Yeah. And that's the thing is I also don't have anything against people who are religious if they're not dicks about it. My parents go to church. My parents are great people. They're not judgmental. They have a gay daughter. They're not fucking weird about it. There's still opinions they have. I'm like, okay, you guys, but they're old. What are you gonna do? But they're generally great people. I know a lot of great people. There's a woman I work with who's about 10 years younger than me, who worked for the church and did all this stuff until she started at my job. She is a very wonderful person, and we've talked about all sorts of social issues, and she's basically down with everything, down with gay people. She understands this and that. She's like, the thing is she is a true believer. She's like, Jesus loves you and he loves everybody. And I told her, I'm like, you are the kind of Christian I wish every Christian was.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you're not going to stop people being religious. It just happens. There's people searching for meaning and somebody to latch onto in this weird fucked up reality we live in. And so I get it. Mine just happens to be like movies and jerking off. But if I didn't have those, maybe I go to church. But, but you know what I mean? It's her thing, and she, is very into it. But she doesn't push it on people, and it's not ever annoying or it's just that's just who she is, and that's that. I don't mind that. But most people now are like, well, you can't do this because it's against my religion. It's like, what? You know what I mean? Well, there's a tangent. We should be done.